when I was about 5 years old, I used to draw GI Joe figures and mail them to Hasbro, probably like five a week or five every 2 weeks. It was just an insane amount of like these really poorly drawn GI Joe characters. With some of them look like Kiss, some of them look like Iron Maiden, some of them look like wrestlers. It was, I'm sure the people at the office were probably shaking their heads like, this guy again. And I was convinced I was going to be the youngest toy designer, and I really wanted that dream to happen. That was one of my goals since I was 5 years old, was to get into the toy industry. And when we couldn't afford much, I would make whatever we couldn't pay for, whatever we couldn't afford. I would try my best to create it. And I remember I wanted Castle Grayskull, the He-Man castle. Oh man, I wanted that thing so bad. It had the trapdoor and the lasers and blah 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 and all this crazy stuff, laser cannons and blah. And the drawbridge. I'm a sucker for drawbridges. I don't know why. I love castles and I love drawbridges. So since we couldn't afford it, I ended up taking one of my middle sister. I took her diaper box, because at the time diapers used to come in this big box, and the front opened up like a drawbridge. So I took a marker and a pen, and I created my own Castle Grayskull out of this cardboard pamper box. And even when I got into the wrestling figures that came out by LJN, came out with WWE figures, and I think Remco came out with the at the time NWA figures, and they didn't have wrestling rings. So I went by a construction site and I got a 12 by 12 piece of plywood, a carpet square, because they had extras. I found an old couch and I took the legs off, and I used rubber bands for the ropes. So that was my wrestling ring. I love that thing. It was heavy as heck, but that was my wrestling ring, and it was better than the one LJN came out with, because the one they came out with was too small for the figures they created. So that was what got me into the toy industry. That's what made me want to get into the toy industry, I should say. And it was just my love for, if a toy broke, I fixed it. If I couldn't fix it, my mother fixed it. We threw nothing away, because it was worth something to me. A broken toy was still worth more to me than the new toy. So that's my little venture into why I wanted to get into the toy industry. I wanted to create toys that I would love to play with and that I wanted to collect. That's actually a funny little story. At the time, I was a manager at an art store in Canal Street. It was called Pearl Paint at the time, and I was one of the managers for the furniture showroom. And we sold drafting tables, lamps, projectors, all that fun stuff. These group of guys come in, and one guy looks kind of like this demented Ricky Martin. He's got these crazy contacts and this crazy clothing and this paint all over him. And that's this guy. But he kind of looked a little familiar, because at the time there was a lot of toy publications, so they would do studio visits, and I knew this guy from somewhere. I just couldn't put my finger on it. So I'm sketching a flyer, because I was in a Kiss tribute band at the time. So I was sketching a flyer for our next Kiss tribute show, and he came up and he goes, "Hey man, you a Kiss fan?" I said, "Yeah." So he goes, "You should come to my studio." He gave me his card. "Come to my studio, work on a cool project that happens to do with Kiss." So I was like, "Okay, cool, definitely." My next day off, I'm gonna head over there, and I couldn't wait. Like, this card was burning a hole in my pocket. I wanted to go like that immediately. That at that point, you're working on Kiss toys, I'm out. But obviously, I have my responsibilities, so I would end up going to the studio, having a visit. It was the Art Asylum Studios, and the gentleman that who gave me my shot in the toy industry was Digger, and I'll always be grateful for that, because it was one thing I always wanted to do. And I got into the toy industry, and it just so happened that I critiqued the Kiss figures that they were working on. He brought out the 2-foot figures, these 2-foot tall Kiss figures. They looked awesome. I was like, "This is awesome. This is great." I was like a little kid in the candy store, and I said, he goes, "Oh, what's wrong with them?" And I said, "Well, this outfit's wrong, and this needs to be there. And this, So I kind of tore them apart, probably for about 10 minutes, and then he goes, "Oh, that's great, man. We gotta keep talking, man." So we kept talking, and I would end up working with Art Asylum. I left my job as a manager of an art store and went and pursued my dream. I took the chance. I rolled the dice. So I stood with Art Asylum for almost all the way till the time they became Diamond Select. And I just loved it, man. I loved the studio environment, and we got to work on some cool toys. We worked on stuff for Bruce Lee and Iron Maiden and Kiss and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Star Wars, Star Trek, Eminem the rapper, not the candy, and I think we worked on some great licenses and some not so great licenses, But to us, every license was great because we poured our heart into everything we did, and that was what I loved about the studio environment. So that's how I got into the industry. Some guy just came to a store and gave me a chance, and you don't ask, you don't get. So there's a little lesson in that. And now, 20 somewhat years later, I don't regret ever making the choice of leaving store manager to become a toy designer. It was actually the Kiss toys. I begged Art Asylum probably for like a year or two. Come on, man, let's do something with Kiss. Let's do something with Kiss. They were like, we did something already. We did Two for Dolls. And I said, no, man, we gotta do something else, man. Come on. I selfishly just wanted to work with the band. I mean, at the time I was working with on and off, doing appearances with Kiss with my Kiss tribute band. And sure enough, we ended up doing Kiss in the Box and Kiss Mini Mates, which was great for me because I got my name on official Kiss product. And as a fan, as a Kiss fan, and as a toy fan, that was like double. That was like a hit and a hit double. I don't even know sports, but if it's a double bases or something, I don't know, something like that. Don't crucify me. I'm not a sport. I'm not outside of wrestling and MMA. I don't really know much about baseball, basketball, or whatever else, football and such. So let's just worry about that later. That's hard because we did some really cool stuff. I mean, I would probably flash to Minimates, probably because there was something we started pretty much from the ground up. We had a meeting. I think it was like at 3, 4 in the morning, and that was normal for Art Asylum. We would always have. I think every toy company has like weird hours, and I remember sitting in the conference room and just going back and forth on ideas and names and so on and so forth. And we really wanted to get something cool, and I think we called it like shorties and minis and all kind of other mini type based names we thought we could think of. And I don't know how. I don't remember how we got to mini mates. I don't remember if it was said, if it was 2 words that were put together. I'm not 100% sure, so that part escapes me. But it was great to create that from nothing, and then we created the look of the character. We all pitched in on that. That's why I think I love it so much. And I think that's when I first started learning how to use some of the programs like Illustrator and stuff. And God rest everyone for putting up with me while I was trying to learn how to create mini-made bodies. But it was really a great time, and I still have my mini mates that I got from there, from Art Asylum. The first few, the 3-inch ones, which are the first ones we did, and we did Bruce Lee, Ozzy, Alice Cooper, Rob Zombie, Kiss, and then there came Crouching Tiger, Dark Angel, and I think that was it. I don't know. It was a long time ago, so. But it was a great time. So that would probably be my favorite line. I know I went into too much information, so sorry. I am somebody who wanted to create my own IP. So I know saying IP. I know friends of mine are laughing at that. So I wanted to create my own intellectual properties, if you will, and I started with, again, with the comic books and then moved forward. So the natural progression for me was toys. So here I am. I put together a Kickstarter. It's starting off really, really slow. Actually, a little slower than I expected, but it's okay. It's okay. And hey, if one thing doesn't work, you find another way, right? There's always I always say it's a GPS. So if one thing doesn't work, if the Kickstarter doesn't work, we'll recalculate and find a new route. So there is no quit here. This is my childhood dream. This is something I live for. This is something I've bled for. I've put in the sweat equity. I continue to put in the sweat equity. It's now, I think, like 2 or 3 in the morning, and I have no desire to go to sleep because I love creating. I keep myself in a creative environment 24 hours a day because I need to feel that environment around me. And eventually, I'll have the studio, and we'll all feel that vibe around us, and we'll have a great time in the studio and create some great product. So, guys, this is the beginning. Super Group Go was the beginning. Now, Parts Unknown is the sequel. So let's see where we go. Only time will tell us. And but I'm along for the ride, and I thank all of you who are along for the ride. And I hope this kind of clarifies some of what I want to do. I don't know if I'm talking too much. I have a tendency of doing that. So I'm gonna cut it short. Too late. I'm gonna cut it down now. I'm gonna stop, in other words. So thank you guys for watching. I hope I answered some questions. If you have any questions about toy design and other things that have to do with the toy, music, or wrestling industry, feel free to ask me. Put it on the comments below. Email me. And I'll do my best to answer everyone as quickly as possible. So thanks again, guys, for watching. Thank you guys who have been so supportive of the Kickstarter. And if you have not checked out the Kickstarter, please do. And thank you guys for everything. Seriously, I feel blessed. So those who have given, those who have shared, those who have just sent me the greatest messages via social media, via email, via phone call. It's really touching. Thank you guys so much for everything and anything that comes along with this ride. So I hope you guys are strapped in, and we're gonna go for a long ride here. There's no quit. Remember, there's only recalculating, new routes. All right. Peace and love, everybody. You guys take care.